Mask of the Quiet One has been an awful exotic for a very long time, but with Bungie's recent change with episode Revenant, this exotic can take a forgotten raid exotic to the next level. Mask of the Quiet One's new exotic trait keeps the ability energy generation when you are damaged, but also allows you to proc Devour after getting rapid final blows or final blows while critically wounded. This directly loops into Collective Obligation's exotic perk Umbral Sustenance, which reloads the weapon whenever you gain invisibility, Devour, or Void Overshield. With Devour generation easily available to Mask of the Quiet One Titans, as long as you are killing enough enemies, you can lay on the trigger without worrying about running out of ammo. Not only is this specific interaction good generally, I have a build for you that takes advantage of Collective Obligation's strength at full power while also allowing you to easily get Devour and keep it rolling with Mask of the Quiet One. To make the most of Collective Obligation's exotic trait, Void Leech, you need to have sources of Volatile, Suppression, and Weaken, which Titans can access all three if you use a Suppressor Grenade, Echo of Instability, which gives volatile rounds on grenade kills, Echo of Undermining, which gives your grenades weakened, and Echo of Cessation, which allows finishers to make surrounding enemies volatile. If you use your Suppressor Grenade right and find the right group of enemies, you can get all three at once, but this is situational admittedly. Your final fragment should be Echo of Persistence to keep Devour and Void Overshield uptime as high as possible. Your aspects are going to be Offensive Bulwark and Bastion, which gives you easy access to Void Overshield through Bulwark Barricades, and better grenade and melee energy regeneration through Offensive Bulwark. For your melee, I do personally recommend the Throwing Shield, as it's an additional way to generate a bit of overshield in a pinch, which you can extend through melee kills via Offensive Bulwark. With all of this Void Overshield as well, if you find yourself out of a grenade or melee and you need the ability, throwing down your barricade and taking damage from enemies around you should also generate a lot of ability energy for Mask of the Quiet One, while also keeping you safe with the damage resistance buff from episode Revenant. Use your preference of super, with Twilight Arsenal being the most damage oriented, and your gameplay loop should be something like this. Use your Suppressor Grenade to get suppression and weaken debuffs out to enemies, while any kills from that grenade will proc Volatile. Remember, you can also use a finisher in your group and shoot an enemy with Volatile through Echo of Cessation to load it into Collective Obligation. Once Void Leech is fully charged and loaded with all three debuffs, you can hold reload to consume the charges you stored up and unleash Suppression, Weaken, and Volatile onto any enemies you point at. Being able to use Suppression for Overload, Volatile rounds for Barrier, and the Seasonal Artifact mod for Unstoppable Pulse Rifle means that in theory you should be able to stun every champion type with Collective Obligation. Ideally, you want to keep Devour up at all times to not stop shooting, as reloading takes away from your button time, and we don't want that now, do we?